Hey everybody, this week we're going to be mounting the radiator, doing all the necessary fab work to get that installed, and the oil cooler and oil cooler lines. So I hope you enjoy the video. Well, it looks like there's a ton of room through here. I can get the oil cooler lines through there and up to the oil filter canister. They got to go right there on the canister. They'll have to come out and weasel through this side and come out through here, and I think I can put the stock factory one. I think I can fit that oil cooler right here. I'll have to take and cut this brace out. That's where I'm going to try to shove that oil cooler, is right there. I want to stay with the oil cooler because I want to make sure I got enough cooling for this thing. I did grab a big radiator out of an Explorer. So that big radiator is way thicker than the stock 4-cylinder. So we should be doing pretty good on cooling, hopefully. So I'll throw an electric fan on that radiator and we should be money. So now I'm going to work on getting this radiator in here. There's going to be a lot of cleanup for me to do. I'll have to come in and I can cut these spot welds out of here and get this off there. Alright, so now that's out of the way. I can measure and cut a straight line right through this and take this side off. So we're just going to keep trimming into this thing until the radiator fits in there. That's all. These we can use for a template. Here's that. I guess I can just cut these off and weld these on in here. So let's get these cut. Okay, the GoPro that I'm using to record with is the one for my drones, and I've crashed so many times with this sync GoPro. I'm starting to get files that are getting corrupted, so hopefully it's not too bad. So I just scribed that line there before the GoPro decided to go full whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so we'll cut this. Oof, I got some oil on it. Don't like to write in oil very well. Likes to write on flat black really well. So I'm going to take and hit this with the grinder. Cut that, and then we'll go from there. Test fit this radiator and see what it looks like. I think I want a little bit more than that, but this is going to fit a little bit differently. It's going to fit like a little bit off-centered or something. You can see how that sits there, and see how that sits there. Look at the room here. Look at the room here. And it's almost good from here to here too. So it's going to have to be right about there. And there's the problem down there. That corner is always the problem. So, take this off the rest of the way. We'll make this fit. Bring this way back in. Might even be able to cut, because this is 2-piece. Right there, it's like boxed in right on that corner. So I might even take and cut some of that as well, so I can get this down to the next layer down there. You can see another layer down there. We'll see. That would be nice if I could drop it down in there even further. But we'll just keep cutting away at this, and we'll get it to fit. Alright, I suppose I better take a little bit of video before I get too far. I'm quite a ways in already. So, I trimmed absolutely everything out of this. All the guts out of this, all the support pieces, everything on the radiator side. I cut absolutely everything out of here. Cut those mounts off, move those mounts all the way down to the very far bottom. So that's all gone. So I'm gonna have to come in there and patch that up and support that all better. I'll just put another whole layer over the top of that, and then I'll put another angle in there. But yeah, I took and moved those down, tacked them on down there. Take the radiator. Radiator fits in just like that. I use this as a spacer so I can kind of see where I want everything to be, because I want it to be evenly spaced from here to here and here to here. So it's going to have to come out a little bit more, somewhere in there like that. But the only problem with it now is if I blow a belt, yeah, actually it's going to have to tip in just a little bit more. You can see it's a little crooked still. If I blow a belt, I'm going to have to make this all bolt in so I can remove the radiator to change the belt. So that's the only downside to doing it this way, but she'll go. I'll have to cut out, I'm going to finish cutting out the top of this here now. So it'll go around this radiator cap. As you can see, the radiator cap's going to be in the way now, so I'll have to cut a relief in there, and then I'll have to use riv nuts and a bunch of tabs, and I'll just bolt it on, bolt this whole front piece on, because otherwise it's going to suck to change that belt if that belt ever blows, or to pull the engine or anything. So that's where I am. Lots of cutting. You can see, cut that whole piece out, cut the end pieces off, and then just trying to keep it. You can see how I left some for support there and some for support there. Just trying to keep it so it's pretty rigid, so that this isn't all floppy when I get it all together. But I'm gonna cut that out for the radiator cap now, and then try to get this all kind of fit up in there. And then I'll start drilling holes and popping riv nuts in there. And welding this up. So I'll weld that up, and then I'm going to put a piece down in here. Come down, over, and I'm just going to bend this whole piece in. I'll use 1/8 inch, and I'll weld it here, bring it out, and I'll start bending it down, and I'll hammer it in the whole way, weld the whole thing in. So it's up tight to here. So it'll be a lot more rigid than it is now. It's pretty flimsy right now. But even the way it is now, it would definitely hold a radiator. Obviously, I'm going to have to take it back apart. I'll have to clean up this, clean up this. I welded these on right here. You'll see why in a minute. I'll throw this all together and show you how it all goes together. I made these brackets, driver's side. I'll have to paint these too, obviously. When I take it back apart and weld that in, I'll paint all this stuff up. I'll put some nice screws in here too to make it look a lot neater. I got some regular screws. I was going to use some button head Allens, but I'll just use some button head Phillips. Kind of tricky to get started in there. The holes are pretty tight. I didn't have to make them that tight. Don't know why I did, just because it's fun. And this whole thing, because it's rusted here so badly, when you take the top loose, it spreads out. So you got to use a strap to put it back together. Figured that out. So you just hook a strap. There. Pull it tight. Right there. And then now that I got that way, should have bought a new header panel or whatever these are, but it still works. You just gotta Should probably put another one in here, but I mean it's gonna start to be overkill pretty soon because everything holds pretty well once I get everything tightened down. So that's all tight in there. So it's like over here I could use something. I need to use this hole. This hole and this hole is for the hood prop goes right here. And then for the radiator, I'm just gonna use the factory rubber mounts. And the same thing on the other side. Now I'll show you how everything's kind of hidden in a minute here. And do the same there, mount this other piece. It goes the same way as that, just like that. I wasn't planning on putting these on there, but I wanted to stiffen it up so the whole thing will be more rigid. And then you can just take still gotta pull those little screws out of there yet. And the screws go in there, and here and here, here and here, then the grill's mounted on. I'm just going to finish cleaning up these brackets, cleaning up this rust, taking these stickers off, and I'm going to paint this whole header piece black. So there's what we got for clearance. Doesn't look too bad. I could probably get the belt off of there now. Now that I push the radiator all the way back in against here, that's a big fat radiator, so I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like if the belt blows, we might be safe here. I can grind some of this off too, off of the drain there. But it looks like I can get the belt off. What I do is I just go in here with a screwdriver, pry right here, pry that up, and then I'll stick a tire iron or a tire spoon down in there to hold that idler up, and then I can just pop that belt right off there. But we'll see what happens. Alright, oil cooler. So this is a huge weight off my shoulders. You can see where that line goes in right there. and the other line goes in down there. Lines come underneath everything. Luckily I was able to take that AC pump bracket off there, and I was able to get the lines to go through there. I'm gonna have to put a strap on it to hold it to the block so it doesn't rub on the power steering gearbox. I'm gonna have to take a little notch out of this cross member right here so it's not rubbing on that. And look at how perfect that worked out. Lines come out right into the back, right behind the bumper. I might have to trim the bumper just a tiny little bit. That one, oh, lighting sucks, sorry. Trim that one bracket, chop chop. But I'll fit the bumper on there and I'll see what my clearance is. But man, we were getting close. I figured before I ripped through a whole bunch of this and didn't show anything, I'm making holder brackets now. Just that little, that'll go through here, and then I'll riv nut it right onto there. This side I already drilled and bolted the original bracket on. I moved it from here to here. I bolted that on. There's a hole in the frame right here already. Original hole in the frame right here already. So I just jammed a piece of rubber between there, and I put that stud that's on here. I put a chunk of gas line on it and stuck it in the hole in the frame. Man, what a miracle how it worked out like that. Crazy. Love it when things come together. All right, there we go. Oil cooler is all mounted in there. I'll have to chop some holes in the bumper or something. I might just put an electric fan on it. You can get a 7-inch fan that'll fit in there, and then I'll just wire it into the same relay as the fan, so when the fan kicks on to cool the engine, it'll also cool the engine oil. So I'll probably do that. I got all that stuff on order. Now it's pretty much hurry up and wait. Now that I have all this stripped, I can do some of this number. I can put all the hoses kind of together, but I actually have some actual aluminum barbs coming, so I can do it all nice and everything. But I can at least start getting the hoses cut and routed. I'll have to want to go to the junkyard and try to get them as cheap as I can. I got this off of a Ranger. There's that little guy down there too that does some kind of weird stuff and goes all the way up into there. So I'll probably grab that one, see what I can do with that one. I'm just trying to recycle as much stuff as I can between the two vehicles so I don't have to buy stuff. And it's working out phenomenally well. Extremely blessed on this swap for sure. That wraps up this week's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Either way, have a great day.